Hello everyone, welcome to tonight's episode of Storm King's Thunder. The party's had a very interesting thoroughfare with the previous session, having delved the depths of the lair of Imrith, the deserts east of Faerun, with their army of allies to the outskirts fighting her army. They managed to delve it, pass through her treasure trove, and strike at her very heart, where a altar to the great devourer was indeed placed, and rituals to summon that great creature there. And I will not break character. The fight began with a meteor swarm being cast upon the party by Imrith, who was hidden in the depths of sand dunes around the inner depths of her chamber. The fight continued with great amount of damage coming from Glory and Ashik as they unsoiled everything they had upon her. The rest of the party was focusing on disabling her, mitigating their effects, and buffing their more powerful, competent members. And then the final blow was struck, as the chain lightnings and strikes of afar came from Imrith further and further, but more desperate did she become. Ashk struck down at her one final time, crushing her skull beneath Golai Tori, the Dawnbreaker. And, with her form crumpled beneath her, the remaining Yanti servants are quickly dispatched by the party. With the adrenaline still rushing through all your systems, you stand now over the remnants of Imrith, the Doom of the Desert. What would you all like to do?
I like to pick up the pieces of my clockwork owl and put it in my bag.
Make an investigation check. You gotta take through stand.
I am going to go and hug my girlfriend.
That's a free action.
I'm gonna go to Inazuma.
I'm gonna go and hug my
checks.
husband.
You hug your big husband, you hug your big girlfriend, you look for your sword, you look for your bird.
Everyone's focusing on what's most important.
The OTPs are coming together. It's like Ashker and Glory. Kirok and Chin and Varys and Inazuma.
Varys and Inazuma. The truest love of this whole campaign.
Me and Ravs are going to heal everybody, we decided. Like, how are we going to work this out?
Okay, well, Kirok is already at full HP from when Durian healed her last, and Tian is at 107 out of 190.
Okay,
So-
so I just start spamming cure wounds until everyone's got enough.
Okay, well, don't totally run out of spells, because we've
I'll
still
say
got
we'll
stuff
let
to do.
Durin use out his healing sources. They're more effective. And Durin will... I will say Durin will... anyone who's below half, add... I'll say everyone just add 40 health. Because Durin's that capable a healer, he'll probably be able to knock each of you guys for about 40. Anyone who needs 40, add 40.
Okay.
I don't need that much.
And then he's just like out for now. Well, she's like,
don't
Out for now, currently.
I don't think I'm going to need it either, but I'm going to stick it in the chat that shall not be mentioned if I can find it.
Okay. That's fine. If you needed it, top up as far as you can get.
Okay.
Roman Nomarin, make your investigation check looking for your bird bits.
Bits.
While it takes the better part of 5-10 minutes, you do manage to collect up all the pieces of your bird. Varys.
I use luck just for reference.
Yeah, I know. I saw.
Okay, I would so.
You begin searching through the dune in which Imrith was originally piled into. And digging deep and deeper and deeper until hands and torso are entirely embedded in your giant form from your potion of giant size. You manage to reach and you find something small and metal and cold. And you begin pulling it out, and there you find Inazuma, the blade of the desert.
Okay, I will go put it in the bag of holding.
Inazuma is currently in the bag of holding.
Sure.
Just because we haven't got time to do anything else with it right now.
Okay.
Yep.
Between
We're on a
you
time crunch,
searching,
yeah.
between your searching and Roman searching, it's been about 10 minutes, including
Oh.
Roman and Jiren and Zero's healing.
Right, everyone ready?
What
yeah.
are we
Let's
gonna
go.
What are we gonna do with her? Should we
Dragon.
take the body?
Oh,
We need to get rid of it.
I get in the room and back out.
I can get rid of it. Just
Can I-
decapitate it and
Wait.
take the
DM.
skull up.
Yeah, can I?
DM.
Go on.
Before Varys does his Ghostbuster drainy crap,
We all know.
No, we've already tested that. It doesn't work on a dragon that's already dead.
Yes.
am I able to take a couple of dragon scales?
You can
Just
certainly
as,
take this. Make a survival check to see how many.
Blue's
you can
face.
I want some too. I
Yes.
want some too.
get. Make a survival check to see how well you do.
Okay, while they're doing this, can I make a perception to see if I can hear how well the battle's going
Go on.
upstairs?
And I'll run over to put my my broken bird into the bag.
You put
Nope.
your broken bird in the bag. I'll say you two are together. We're giving each other advantage. Kirok choosing the best pits, and Ashk's far larger hands in this form, able to rip out. You get the size of her. Bear in mind how large she is. Each actual scale is more like an actual kite shield in size.
Jesus.
Because she's an enormous creature. So you managed to get
One day
10
we'll
of
make that
these
into a
large.
shield for you.
You managed to get 10 of these very large, beautiful, and undamaged scales. Some of the very few scales that have not been charred, burnt, or battered by you lot.
Wedding dress done.
Mine or yours?
I've just got one for the size
I
of
know,
my chest,
right?
so I'm just like, this is going on the mantle.
This is going on my arm.
Right.
Kirok,
I have a shield now.
birds have mantles? Never mind.
I have a dragon scale shield.
So, Glory, take that head off. Does everyone get everything they want for the dragon?
Sooner
I'll take that
we
to you.
deal with the body and whatever.
You take the head, Glory, so you gonna lob it off?
I mean, I can try.
I would guess that
Go for
a
it.
dragon slaying sword would go through a
What-
dragon like
I
butter.
mean, yeah, that's true. What?
Take the head
Just
off.
roll an attack?
Make an attack roll with advantage on the dead body. Just see how well you decapitate Imrith.
Let's see if all my luck's run out, shall
Now that's a sentence a lot of people probably never get to read. Oh, yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
The moment you say you
we?
need
I've
it
broken
done,
the input.
Glory
Hot knife
just
through the
strides
butter.
over towards Imrith, reaches down, and the horn of Imrith has been embedded into her skull by Ashk's maul. Glory just grips the underside of the jaw, lifts the head and neck up, and you just see how long her actual neck is when fully extended. And with the other arm, Dragon Slayer in that hand, shunk, Imrith's Bane claims the head of the Doom of the Desert.
While they're doing that, the other thing I want to do, it will take me 1 minute, is
Mhm.
cast Conjure Elemental and Conjure an Earth Elemental.
Okay, you can definitely do that. While everyone else is
Sweet.
doing all their stuff, you can definitely
Yeah,
do
once
that.
I've got the sword, and then if I've got time, I'll do that.
Yeah, which you do. You conjure an earth elemental.
What's going to be the quickest way to get topside?
Right, there's a big hole above us,
I'd say
right?
cliffside, wrong campaign.
No, the hole goes below
Ask
us.
Mesna, which is the quickest
Oh.
way up?
Across the street.
Is there a big opening above us, or
Zero is asking you an important question that should
Oh,
probably be
fucking-
answered.
there's not? I forgot about him.
Nesna are looking around to all of you. By the seven hells of Loth, it's been a while since I've seen you all, and last time I saw you guys properly, with sense in my head, the roles were definitely reversed in scale.
Answer quickly, don't want to fight you today.
That's
Yeah, you get a free pass for the
Today.
day. Anyone who's not trying to make our innards out, get a free day pass.
best bet.
Ashka is just silent there with Imrit's blood over her face. It's like, yeah.
Best bet is there's a collapsed passage here that I managed to motivate my way through. And he points back towards the corridor he came through. From there, there's a stairwell that can lead you straight up. It's big enough for you.
All in?
Let's motivate the troops by bringing this thing upstairs. I'll deal with this as it goes, and I cast Insect Plague on the thing, summoning a whole shit ton of sand lines to just eat away at her body.
No.
Cool, right.
Um,
You want me to carry this
Dope.
thing? I
Get
can
some
try.
bones.
Right. Let's assume Centauri is still up there, invisible, with
Kirok, how long does the invisibility last?
An hour.
Okay.
It's still
So
active.
You're still up.
Yep. We should have had you cast
Um,
Insect Plague from the start. That would make Scales getting a lot easier.
I command my Earth Elemental to notify me in any way, like just by like a tap or like clapping his hands, if he senses anything with his tremor.
Oh, if he senses anything with tremor sense coming towards him.
Anything that he can't physically see, but with tremor sense.
Okay, that's very good to say. Thank you for saying.
Suddenly the Earth Elemental starts clapping like one of those weird monkey
The
things.
monster manual is useful.
Ding 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 ding.
Thankfully not. The Earth Elemental at no point claps.
Okay, right, let's go. No time to waste.
Well, yep,
I've got
all
him
those
for
big
1
people
hour,
are going
I
to
believe.
carry the skull upstairs.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
as
I
we're
can
running,
do
I'm
it.
gonna shake
Right.
the.
We
shake
all
the
have
rod
25
Ash.
days.
Ash can do it.
Yeah, I've got to concentrate on
I
him
think
for an
Ash
hour,
has
but
earned that title.
Ash drags the head, like just from like the sinewy neck and like the back of the neck, like a fucking pet. Just drags it up. You all make your way up. And
As we're
you're
running, I'm
making your way-
gonna shake the pack to the Rod Keeper. Get a
and I'm going to
back.
cast, because we've been here for more than 10 minutes, I'm going to cast Fire Shield on myself again.
Okay.
I might swap
That's
some
right.
sorcery points for slots, but I gotta check the conversion rate.
Okay.
Right, we're going topside. We're going.
Question.
We've got to motivate the troops. And possibly demotivate our enemies, depending on how brain they have.
Okay.
We run.
You guys storm up, Glory and Ash to the
I'm
front,
gonna hold off for now.
blades ready, to the sound of cheers. The sounds of your allies. You look around, and there's currently a few dozen Warforged left, currently surrendered. Hands to their heads, not instigating fights. While there's definitely been conflict on the side and loss on the side of your allies, with the sudden aid of the airplane's finest, and as you do rise up, there are 12 portals, burning portals that are currently sealing back up.
Oh yeah, because the demon
Ah.
or devils. Sorry, demons are the black and gooey.
It doesn't matter.
Why?
It's fine.
I want to look over the whole group at everyone that I can see, and look for 4 people specifically. Any sign of Centauri, Zolto, Gregor, or Legacy?
Okay,
Practically
One
any
hell of a
sign.
list.
that's one hell of a list.
Yeah.
huh?
I'm
Hell of a list.
gonna look to the sky with
Just,
my
I'm
seeing
scanning.
visibility active.
So, just give me a second because there's a lot of models to put on this map.
Yeah, you do. You.
Yeah, I have something to do as well, but do those first.
You all step up, and you do see Hecaton. You see both Farin and Tauron present. You see Sildar atop Kronos. You see Legacy floating above everyone, wings aflame, wings like feathers aflame. You see, still striding up in the air above you all, is Sumoshi atop his chariot of clouds, being pulled by Pegasi. You see even characters you haven't seen in a very long time. Vimak and Ungrim, the two Order of the Gauntlet members who had long ago aided you in a tense battle against a fully grown white dragon. You see as well the enormity of the scaled individual, Zek Zalok. However, you do also see bodies. You see Hecaton kneeling over the remains of the giant Jarl of Frost. Jarl Storvald has been slain in this battle. The Tauren and Farin are also over a body. Farin in particular weeping heavily and just clutching as tightly as he can. And Tauren knelt down, the younger one, crying. Estain Katiklia, leader of Stone Giants, has also fallen. But they are not the only leaders of giants who have fallen this day. Towards the furthest point of the amphitheater, pinned by a barrage of bolts pinning the legs, armor stripped from the body, the shriveled remains of a Baelor at his feet, you see the lifeless husk of Fire Duke Zalto, the traitor duke.
Hell yeah!
Fuck yeah!
Yes!
Still flames and embers flicker from him. You do not see Countess Ansuri, but what you do see, very close to the remains of Zalto, is Gregor. Still somehow standing. However, his back is riddled with dozens of spear blows. And around his body are the remains of at least 12 simulacrum Tians.
See, Gregor looks real rough, yeah?
Paris.
Like real rough, like
As your mother, I can read your mind.
like real rough.
Currently, the aftershock of the battle
Free
is still
pass, remember.
Like if we're talking sandpaper, you know, see like the top grid here, or
It's kind of sangre paper that you look at and you can feel your skin.
I can see your little misfit brain working. Stop it.
Varys, I want to
Why
talk.
am I-
I want to
why am
talk
I
about
suddenly-
neutrality.
How big
Why am I
is
suddenly picturing Ashka and Glory? Varys is just about to go, let me out, and then Ashka and Glory just like, nope, arms out, nope.
How big is
Okay,
Gregor?
fine
For
with that.
reference, is he?
He's a
I started back on.
creature.
He's huge.
What you do still see as well is the one living adult golden dragon that joined the battle from Samoshi's host. And maybe 3/4 of the Ergenesai and Genie folk that came to his aid as well. One golden dragon is laid strewn across the battlefield, slain very early on in a reckless attempt to charge Zalto. You do see 2 bodies of adult blue dragons. 2 of the daughters of Imrith have been slain. One of them has their chest cavity torn open, and you see a familiar figure standing atop, feeding on the heart. In the gloom of the shadows, there you see Vlad, stunned Volval, relishing a meal.
Is that dragon heart you wanted? What?
Sorry,
Not wrong.
I just saw Das's face going, please no.
Why are you booing me? I'm right.
Amongst
No,
the fallen,
Never mind.
you do see at least 24 of the giants that came into Accord. There was maybe 24 in total. Only 8 remain, excluding the leaders. Of the human hosts that came, nearly 100. They've been cut down to only 40 remaining. But the Warforged that did number in the hundreds is only down to a few dozen. And you see a very familiar hunched figure, currently with a large magical cage, restricting all of them to a small space, but they are surrendered. You do see the shopkeeper, more or less observing this trapped large group as she has contained them. You're coming up from the right side with Nezanar behind you.
I'm watching that
This
SOB.
moment. Yeah, you were watching that son of a bitch, and he is head lowered. But you do see them. Friends and family. Allies. And the enemies of your enemies. You come up from this point. You see the 2 ruined remains of these hellish catapults, or cannons as such, strewn about the amphitheater as well. And this large, bizarre form, like an enormous rotund barrel with crab legs, 6, but 3 to each side, with these massive pincers to the front. 1 pincer remains, but to the other side it is as if it is the barrel of a gun. And it is a very large steam-powered system with an exhaust coming from the top. And it is currently shut down. It has collapsed the legs underneath it, almost like as if the creature itself was resting, if it was one. And there you see, atop it, Rockfen, accompanied by a young human, and a gnome you encountered once in Citadel Felbar. All of which are drinking heavily.
Of course, as you do.
But of course.
So, now that you're all here, and bear in mind, until you wish it to end, the potions of giant size are still in effect.
I think it lasted for a day. If we
It lasts a full day.
24 hours.
If you so choose, it will last for another 24 hours.
Oh my god, I think Varys squashed something. Or someone.
I would like to, while all this excitement is going on, just sort of vanish off into the battlefield away from the rest of the party.
Okay, I'll say you do. You can message me what you want to do in the meantime.
I can even tell you what I want to do. I don't mind if they hear or anything, but I
Okay.
also can't make that character portrait any bigger.
Oh, there you are.
Yep, just trying to drag myself. Yep, there you go. Zero's going to head off, and I imagine this human corpse is all about as well.
There are, yes. Some still barely living, some dead. You are amongst the dead and dying as a plague doctor.
I will find a young female soldier, just some non-important person with all these important dead people around and all that. I'm just going to find someone, and I'm purposely not going to look at her face. I'm just going to take my mask off and put it on her face, and I am going to cast Reincarnate on her.
On a dead person, which is something
Yep.
that you didn't specify. Okay.
A dead young
Do
female.
you have the materials to perform reincarnate?
I do indeed.
Okay.
The $1,000 gold worth of oils.
Roll 1d100. This is a human, a young human female.
it's gonna be real fucking weird.
What?
She returns
Oh,
to
wow.
half-orc.
Go.
That's quite a change.
And
She becomes a stout half-orc woman, maybe about 5'4".
before she even gets up and
Tusks
sees
are
me, I
barely
just
formed.
wander off and start healing the needy.
Tusks are barely formed, confused, but with this thick, heavy black hair that goes down. The armor's mismatched on her now currently. And you just begin walking around, mask off, and you begin healing those you can.
Yep.
Through your effort 0 in this time, you save at least 15 people.
When I'm out of spells, I'll use first aid kits, and when I'm out of that, I'll just start burning bodies, and I'll wave at Vlad at some point.
Mm-hmm. You manage to save who you can. You
Yep.
save 15 lives. And you ensure that the rest are taken by the desert.
If I may, Han, sorry for interrupting. Ashka will probably be doing something similar in performing basic first aid where she can, trying to increase morale within some of the injured, basically stabilizing individuals.
We'll say you and Durin also go, and you together could probably also save another. From you could probably save about 10, but Durin could easily save 30. So together, you two go out along with him, and you manage to save from what were bleeding, dead, or dying. You, using your resources of gems and your healing abilities, you managed to resuscitate maybe, in a grand total of all of you together, about 45 people. lost 45 lives that weren't going to be there, but what was a grievous amount of casualties for the people of the 10 towns is now still tragic, but manageable. Barris, the moment you came up, I imagine that your eyes did not leave Gregor.
No. I'm gonna walk forward a little bit towards the giants. And just say,
Hovering around this guy.
hey, what you saying? Centauri. Did anyone see Centauri?
I looked to the sky with my seeing visibility. I don't know if I saw anything.
Like, if any
You
of the
do not
giants or-
see anything in the sky, Kirok.
No, nothing.
I'm asking the giants specifically, or anyone else here that saw during the battle.
As you are there, most of the giants, like say that you'd get a response from, like say Torun or Harshnag, are stunned in grief.
I'll call Legacy if that helps.
Okay.
Legacy is there amongst them, and she looks towards you as you're addressing out to anyone. If anyone saw Sansuri, she was at the back of the battle. That thing launched itself in against her. We didn't even know she was there. Just began clawing at nothing. She quickly teleported out before any of us could get close enough. But her servants did a number on him. And you just see Gregor pulling himself up the side of the amphitheater as if he's trying to make his way out, but it's essentially the slow, lumbering, exhausted form. What you're noticing as well, Bars, his wounds aren't healing.
Who took Gregor?
Yes, Gregor's wounds aren't healing.
I look over to him. Take a few steps forward.
I'm going with him.
And I'll banish him to the wall plane. Oh, I can't choose the plane, can I?
No, you cannot choose the plane you banish someone to.
I'll banish him.
Yeah, that's a wisdom
Shit, I
saving
can do
throw.
about that, guys.
It's a DC 17 wisdom save.
If he'd attacked him, I would have intervened.
Yeah.
Spells?
Yeah.
You're out of my wheelhouse now, boys.
No, if he's from this plane of existence, he'll just come back at the end of the banish.
Oh, that's true, actually.
Yeah, it lasts for a minute,
I
and
don't want
basically
him
he's
here.
in a demi-plane.
I just don't want to see him right now.
DC,
Away with you.
He rolled a 14. Gregor is, for a minute, out.
It does also mean I'm choosing to drop the Earth Elemental. I don't think I can just tell him to fuck off, so I think he's just there.
There's just an earth elemental now chilling.
It doesn't say I can dismiss it. It says if concentration is broken.
It's
Yeah,
just
but-
chilling there.
Yeah.
Unless it gets attacked.
We've not done anything to it, so it's.
I
It's killing it underground in the sand. It's probably like out of sense of it.
It's like, I can't-
sand. It gets everywhere. That's nice.
Just
Force and
building
rock.
a little castle. Just
He's doing the Stitch thing and making the castle over his legs.
Aw.
yeah.
I will
I'm gonna call it Brock.
I just
That's
pictured.
it.
I just pictured the
Force and rock
R2D2
everywhere.
We can't adopt an Earth Elemental, guys.
Oh,
Watch
that,
me.
How does I'll just have a look at my soul. How does Nesnar look?
Nezanar, when you look back, there is his bow, his arrows, and his blades left into the ground at the entrance to the Underdark, or not the entrance to the Underdark, excuse me, the entrance to the lair. And you, after looking for a little bit, and anyone else that's there, do see footprints moving off and into the distance.
Let him go.
I mean, so he's just left Gregor here. So
Kirok, you can see him.
I'll just stare at him.
In this invisible form, eventually you do see the cloak fall off and the shroud fall off as well.
What will you do now?
Do you say that to him? I've done too much evil. I'll never be forgiven. At least I can try to do some right.
The best way to do that's to come into the light. Come away from the shadows. I think you've spent enough time there.
Varys, he is not lying. He genuinely has guilt in his heart. It's a confused and tortured soul that has been influenced by evil powers beyond his comprehension. Kirok, make a persuasion check.
I'm just gonna go and stand over where Gregor will pop back in.
Fucking Avatar the Last Airbender, this villain, let's go.
It's a 16.
There's a long pause where you all see her talking to nothing, and then Nezanar's invisibility drops. And you see a drow struggling with the light, blinking profusely, hand up over his head. And it's the first time you've actually seen his face, not malformed, not twisted, not mutated. He looks like, for the equivalent of an elf, maybe in his early 20s. His hair is long and black with a tinge of purple. And his eyes are these bright yellow underneath. And he's stood there before all of you. I guess there's only one way to start then.
I hold out a hand to him.
He willingly reaches out and takes your hand.
A fresh start.
I don't deserve it.
Doesn't matter.
I promise not to be a pain in the backside of any new young adventurers, needless to say. Although, judging by how you lot turned out, certainly turned out a lot better than I could have ever imagined. I would have hired more giants if I knew that you lot would have been this dangerous. Damn.
And then I grab him and just noogie him and I go, like that would stop us!
God damn, guys. We've decapitated this guy twice.
Twice.
And I'm saying we, because it was definitely me.
Twice.
Spread the blame.
No,
Spread the blame.
You did it once, the same time he got fingered dead.
Oh, that's true.
And then torn apart by Cthulhu.
Yeah. I
Let's
give
forget, let
Gregor
bygones be
half
bygones.
Just like, don't let it happen again!
Yeah, and I probably stayed quite a fair way back because I Mario jumped him something terrible.
Yeah, you go
fond memories, fond memories.
Yeah, sorry
Looking
about
around
that.
to all of you with that surprise look to him, and it definitely like has that moment of very much so like, oh, I'm forgetting the name of the character, Megamind of I don't know how to react to this situation.
Excellent reference.
So I've got my arm around his shoulder now and I go, we need to address something. Varys.
I'm 60 foot away, next to where Gregor's gonna appear.
Varys,
Gregor
come here,
approaching.
I'm in a
please.
parallel dimension. You'll never find me. I've changed my name.
1
Yeah.
second.
Come on.
No,
I-
1 second now.
I ignore Kirok.
How?
What was a bonus action? Cast a 5th level Shadow Blade.
Dude, no.
Drop concentration on banishment, and I will take 2 attacks against Gregor with my Shadow Blade.
I can't do anything. I can't do
I'm
anything.
going to cast Counterspell.
I'm going to counterspell his counterspell.
Can you do
I'm
God,
going to-
children.
What? You're going to counterspell Shadow Blade?
You cannot counterspell a counterspell's counterspell. But I will say this, you can only cast at a certain level. So there is a DC to your counterspell, Varys, against you.
Whoa, wait. It depends. I can counterspell his counterspell, right?
You can.
Yeah, but mine's
But you have
cast
to
at
roll
the
for it.
highest.
His cast at his eyes.
Yeah, sure. Which is
So
6,
you just
right?
have to cast. Yeah.
So what we'll do?
So basically,
My-
you
Kirok,
roll.
Ash, and I look into the camera
can't
like we're on the
cast a
office.
No, I can only use eye bite once. because that's because of Mystic
But you can cast a
Arcanium.
5th level spell.
Okay, so it's an int check, right?
It's an in check for you. Roll.
Yeah, I'll use luck.
Fuck, goddammit. I've never wished. Hey!
Wow!
Still,
Destiny.
you watch-
Destiny says no.
You watch as Gregor falls back down. Varus reaches to pull a blade from his literal mind, and as he does, you see Rowan's hand blast out against him, and the spell is countered, fizzled.
Okay.
Gregor is, at this point, because he teleported back in, is on the ground, but beginning to try and pull himself up, and is pulling away from both of you back against the wall.
Varys.
May
If I get another turn, I'll draw my sword and attack. But
May I
I'm
Varys.
not
walk
in
up to
initiative, so you
Gregor?
tell me.
Sarah, what did you say?
I said, may I walk up to Gregor?
This is currently going on. If you guys want to contest Varus in regards to this, because Varus just wants to attack him, I might need initiative checks. See if you guys can go before him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright.
Okay.
Initiative.
It's not how I thought this would be going, guys.
Look, I want to kill one guy, please.
Sure. If you want
Want to
initiative
kill
roll,
one
I'll
guy,
roll
please?
initiative.
I use luck on that. I need to get rid of some spells. I just
You
cast
used so many. You've
I
used
used a
2
fifth.
lucks already today.
I
You
the
used
third.
1 yesterday.
I used
and
the
you
fate
used
dice.
your-
No,
yeah,
I
you
used
fate-
I used the fate dice, and I've used 2 luck, so I've got 1 luck left.
You got 1 luck left.
Initiative, right?
Yes.
I mean, sure.
Zero, you can also roll into this because I know
I
you want to
did,
take an
but it didn't
action.
go in properly.
I'll
I
luck
clicked
it.
it wrong.
I'll luck the initiative. Fuck it. Done. 16.
Okay, Zero, just click your icon and roll again. Yeah, you were the 16 though. I saw the other 6. I imagine Varus does have a higher dex than you, so Varus will be going before you. But currently, Kirok and Glory are going before Gregor and then Varus.
I did say I was up with them. I haven't moved my token. Is that alright?
Yeah, you said you were moving your way over there.
To be fair, okay. Yeah. I'm gonna
I'd say you were over there because you were moving
like-
your way over. You didn't have time to yet react to him, however.
Yeah.
Kirok.
You're first, Garrett.
Wall of stone.
Straight between the 2 of them.
Maybe
How high
I
is
don't
it?
need to do shit.
How high is Wall of Stone?
10
I
foot.
think 10 foot.
10 foot by 10 foot.
How tall are we in giant form?
You are 25 foot tall, but
Okay.
currently there is essentially
Then I
a
will
barrier.
half the distance of the length of the wall to make it twice as high.
Okay. So this wall is currently 20 foot. Basically, you can see Varus down over him because in this form you were actually larger than him. He's maybe 14 foot tall, 10 foot tall, or 10 foot wide but 14 foot tall.
I don't really know what else to do. I'll just do what I've been doing, which is just scream, Varys, stop!
Also, since now it's basically Varus has like 5 foot that he can see, it's just.
Yeah, that's definitely what I'm thinking of too.
Yeah.
Okay, is that your turn, Kirok?
Oh god, decisions. Shit! Why did you do this? I will try to cast.
Because he's edgy and cool.
I will use a bonus action to spend 2 sorcery points, and I will attempt to cast Reduce on
Varus, making him large. That is a wisdom saving throw against you, Varus.
With advantage. Do I, have
Goddamn
my,
Hero's Feast is working against us.
do I have my reaction back, or
No,
have,
it is not yet gone to your turn.
Because that was effectively my turn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wisdom save, advantage,
It's a Constitution, actually.
Is
Constitution
it Constitution?
with
Well,
advantage.
your
Not a-
Constitution is
not
even
advantage.
lower. Not with advantage anyway,
17.
but I would have taken the roll from the first one
I
anyway.
I have advantage on all spell saves with myself.
Oh yes.
Fair enough.
Well, I would have said use the first roll.
Yeah,
and
no, that's
just
fine.
change
Yeah,
the modifiers.
yeah.
Which would then result in that being a 6 or
Yes.
an 11. Or sorry, not a 6 or 11, but a
with
9.
an advantage,
But
it would
regardless,
have been-
would not have succeeded.
No, that's fine.
Varus, you are made just a little bit.
A little bit
Baby
smaller.
back to his little size.
Shrink the baby back to its big size.
Varys, you just go whoop whoop whoop. You're
I'm
still
a
maybe
decent size.
you're probably the same size as him, but the wall's between you and him now.
And that's everything I can do.
Mm-hmm. Glory.
What's a grapple check?
It's athletics versus my athletics and
Yes.
or acrobatics.
His choice of athletics or acrobatics, but it is athletics on your side.
I mean, I'll actually use
If you're reduced, you have disadvantage.
well,
It's
strictly
a
I'm
straight roll,
I'm
straight
still
roll.
under the effects of giant size. So I've got strength, right?
which gives you advantage. Well, yeah, you still have the strength 25.
right,
20. We all have a strength of
But
20.
Which
reduce
is-
gives you disadvantage on strength-based checks.
which is plus 7, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're me.
I was about to say, you should have a higher roll than that with your strength mod currently. Because of your proficiency modifier, surely.
It's plus 7. You're not
I-
proficient.
Doubt I've actually put the right proficiency in there. I doubt I've updated it since our proficiency.
Are you proficient in athletics?
Definitely.
So it should be a plus 11.
I'm not actually proficient in athletics, but I have expertise from fighter.
So it's what, half proficiency? So
I mean, no, expertise means she's got double
No, she's not got.
proficiency.
No, you don't get expertise from fighter. It's called something else. I know what she means
Yeah.
though. It's.
Oh, you get
half
half.
added to
Oh,
it.
yes, you get.
So it's
Yeah,
half-
I essentially get
It's like jack of all trades, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it's the jack of all trades.
But just
for
yeah,
athletics.
so nine
So
right.
you do
athletics.
have 11. So you have 23. So yeah, Varys, you are restrained from behind by a full Nelson from Glory.
Remarkable athlete.
That's it. We did not just get through a whole fucking fight just to kill each other.
Not killing each other. And killing Gregor.
He helped us.
He is an abomination.
I
He
know.
killed me.
I know.
He's going to die.
Not today. Vengeance will last another day. Not right now, not here.
Is that your turn?
That's all I
Would you
can
like to
do.
make a persuasion check as
I mean, I can fucking try. It won't be good, but I could try.
Just fucking suplex him.
That's my plan B here.
At the end of your turn, Roman, you're the only person to see this.
Okay.
Gregor changes and shifts back to his human form. And you look towards him. I have done too much evil in my life. I've been the pawn of too many. If he kills me, so be it. But I am not ready to die. And you just watch as the two blackened, almost skeletal wings erupt from his back as the Asimir begins to fly away,
Yo.
taking a full dash as far as he can, flying all the way up there. From your position, based on where the wall is, you cannot currently see him, Varys. But you did hear.
The insight check was on Gregor, by the way.
Yeah, not interested in checking if I'm honest. I'm always honest.
Yeah, I know you're.
You know what I'm on about. I'm not
He's
complicated.
Gregor is not one to be persuasive, but he cannot lie to save his life. And currently, lying wouldn't save his life. He's telling the truth. At the end of that, it is now your turn, Varys Valorin.
I skip my turn. I do nothing.
Ooh.
Absolutely nothing.
0.
I don't know where I am during all this because I was healing people. Am I nearby?
I'd imagined with the chaos and like you hearing people shout, you would have probably come up somewhere around here.
So am I close enough to get there at any reasonable speed, or is he long gone? Like,
Well, you can get to like say here and see him. You can see him currently from his position, his angle up there. You can see him.
well, I'll just
You can
do
get to,
normal
like, say, here.
walking speed, and I'll just sort of look at Varys and say, you know, I made a monster, but that thing that flew away was a person. You'd be better off stabbing me, to be honest. Still, that's not it, neither here nor there. Where the fuck's Kira?
Hello!
And I go wander off.
Okay, you use your rest of your 30 feet to wander off. I'm gonna move you guys here so you could be seeing this.
While this is going on, what's the current situation with Hecaton?
Hecaton is not striking. He's observing. He's being patient, and he's watching all of you, your reactions, and how you're handling those who surrender.
Ashka will approach, but keep a sort of respectable distance, and say, will kneel and say, "My Lord Hecaton." Waiting for a response.
He looks down towards you. His arm is actually strapped and held, like literally bandaged and lifted up. Seems as if he has had his own share of losses and injuries in this battle. Still lifting himself with dignity. Korriban, is the task done? And he looks towards the head. Ah, excellent.
I bring gifts for yourself and for your daughter, whom I made a promise to in your absence, my lord.
He nods. That is your turn. Roman. You can see, you know where Gregor is gone, limping away. A wounded animal. In this situation, what do you do?
I shall. I will cast Fog Cloud.
To make his exit very dramatic.
Yes.
Yes, like the fallen Asimir needs to be any more goth.
There's no cap on how goth you can be.
That's true.
Just look at Taliesin.
So, since I cast it at
He is
the biggest
cat.
range,
Taliesin is Taliesin goth.
like,
That's like
I'll
Mega
cast
goth.
it up here,
Mhm.
and then since I cast it at 5th level, it goes from 20
It's an extra 100 foot, right?
be 100 foot across.
Basically, you shroud the entire amphitheater in fog, up and around where Gregor was. Currently, there isn't a hope of spotting where he was exactly.
Yeah, I basically just cover for perspective sense of, so that way Gregor can still see where he's going, but not, basically.
Yeah, you basically create a fog barrier.
Yeah.
At this point, Varys, will you keep pursuing Gregor?
No. I'm still just doing fuck all. Literally fuck all.
Anyone else want to do something, or will we return to the roleplay?
Just as a flavour thing, I'll cast message to Gregor, and Noah privately say to him, "Remember this kindness, Fallen, so that one day you may rise."
From the fog, you don't get a message in response in your head, but you hear one lone
That's all I do.
With that, and if no one else does anything, Gregor makes an exit.
I am going to transfer my grapple into a hug.
That's a free action.
I'll drop the wall.
It's a slight change in intent and purpose of the grapple.
Yep. You'd probably still have to roll athletics or acrobatics to get out of it.
Yeah,
Yes,
you think I
you
am
get it.
It's a mom hug. It's a mom hug.
Yeah, you ain't going anywhere, but it is a hug. And she's just gonna say,
Alright, shall I start the roleplay?
I think Glory was about to.
Glory, go ahead.
sorry, my mic's being a bit funny today.
No, you're fine, Glory. Go ahead.
Glory's just gonna say, Varys, you're alive. You're alive right now. And you're here. Just so you know.
I'm not saying anything. I'm still just.
That's okay.
Just accept
That's
it.
okay. I am going to hug him for as long as he will physically let me.
Frog noises!
You continue to hug him. As Ashk, you kneel down and offer up the head of Imrith to Storm
And
King
also-
Hekaton.
And also, 2 or 3 of the blue dragon scales, the large ones.
We'll say you offer up 2. One for him and one for his daughter. He takes them in one hand, and then takes the head by the spines at the back of it in the other, and lifts it. And after a bellow, and all the giants and all the humans around him cheer out as well, in delight and relief that the task is indeed done. It is at this point that Sildar has stepped off of Kronos, both of which look battered. Definitely having fought on the most dangerous sides of the battle. And he's basically to the opposite side of the force cage, maintaining all of these warforged. He looks about them. And from his troops he hears different cries. Burn them. Kill them. Torture them. From angry soldiers who have watched these things kill their friends, their loved ones, in battle. But he's just watching and looking over them all, taking no interest to what he hears from his troops. Roman. Look at them. Roman, make an insight check on the Warforged.
Tinker, tinker, tinker.
Yeah, actually, that's exactly why I was coming over.
They, whilst they look autonomous, what you're noticing now, that sheen that was on their eyes when the battle begun, is gone. And these Warforged look afraid. They look scared. They look like they can feel emotion. Do you see it as well?
Yes, I do. And I would actually like to take a moment, 10 minutes, well, yeah, I guess it'd be 10 minutes, and cast Identify as a ritual on one.
Whilst there was transmutative and divination magic cast upon them, Warforged in and of themselves are not a machine or an item that can be identified. They are a living creature. They do not look angry. They do not seem to breathe, but they are still afraid and nervous. They even
Well, I mean,
groups huddle around each other in amongst the force cage, not knowing what to do.
yeah, even if they are a creature, I do learn what spells, if any, are currently affecting it.
There are currently no spells affecting them.
Okay.
What you were aware is that they were very recently affected by Dominate Person. Each one of them.
I tell this to Sildar.
He looks about amongst them, and the shopkeeper is nearby. Lower the force cage. She looks to him confused for the moment. Lower the force cage, please. And with that, she does drop her concentration. The cage falls, and seeing the tally he has racked up in the battle, the Warforged do step back and away from Sildar once the cage is gone. And he steps closer. Can you understand me? They begin to nod. Who among you would lead? What would be your commander? And of the few Warforged, some of them look about to one another, but one does step forward, far heavily more armored and slightly larger. Crafted from, well, most of them have been crafted from iron or steel. This one has the faintest hints of mithril carved into its frame and form. The mithril almost serving as tendons and wirings connecting limbs between themselves. It seems more fortified. And this larger Warforged steps forward. What would you do if you were free? If you were given a chance? The Warforged looks and shrugs. Know not what do. Served only. What is in your heart? And the Warforged pauses and looks for a long period. And there is maybe 5-10 minutes of a pause as it thinks.
Out of character. What is a heart? I only have metal.
Aww.
Does this unit have a soul? You know I had to fucking say it, goddammit!
Listen here, you little bristle bitch. I was leading up to that. You fucking stole it from me.
I'm sorry!
All I could think of was rock tree from the Iron Giant.
Yes. Superman. Now I could be like, hush, nag.
Ugly crying.
It's Bishop from Aliens all over again. The good one, not the jerk one.
How many references can we make?
We do what is right. And what is right to you? To your people? Help others. Did you choose to take part in this battle today? Or were you forced? It pauses. We did what we're told only. Commands we follow. Sildar turns, nodding to him, towards the army, towards the allies, towards you. But a few minutes ago, these Warforged fought with a relentless fervor none could match. But when that shimmer left their eyes, they were confused. And as we pressed our advantage and cut down some others, they began to flee, afraid. And if not for her, as he points towards the hooded figure, they would have all fled. These creatures know fear. These creatures know regret, and they were forced into today's matter. I will not allow the execution of creatures who were forced to do something without their will. And there are shouts of confusion and anger amongst the soldiers, the more human soldiers than anything, and amongst the dwarves as well. Until the dwarven king steps up next to Sildar and looks towards the Warforged, watching the whole affair, turns back to them, to his army. Are you hardly going to be questioning me now as well, will you? I follow by the humans' ends. We will not kill them. We will show mercy. And currently it seems like the armies are in a dispute against the leaders. Is there anything any of you do?
Think I'll... After you.
Straight back, hand on chest, showing respect to both the Dwarven King and the Giant King. That's all. Sorry.
Where do you stand
probably...
on this argument? Players, where do you stand?
I probably wouldn't have gotten past all this to get to Kirok yet, coming back.
No, you definitely did not.
I'm just gonna sort of roll my eyes and casually walk up to one of the Warforged, and just gonna...
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Oh dear.
The Warforged looks confused, but they have all dropped their weapons.
Oh my god. This
one is looking up in confusion and fear, and is beginning to step back.
Boom, boom.
I kneel down and do a medicine check.
Make a medicine check.
This is like the equivalent of a toddler going up to a tin soldier set.
I would have said with advantage. You pick him. You basically hold him.
I gently put my hand down to let him come.
Yeah, he steps up, and you begin examining him. And while he doesn't have, you can tell just by, like, say, placing your hands around. While he doesn't have organs, there is a throbbing pulse of life in his core, in, like, say, the center point between the chest and the sternum kind of place. There's just a pulse. Boom, 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 of life. And there is intelligence in the eyes, though in their current forms, it seems like they were only trained for one purpose, and they do have an intelligence. One of them clearly has the means of at least speaking, which means the others must do as well. It seems like they can be trained, they can be taught, but at present they were only used for one purpose, and as such.
So it's somewhat biological, infused in a shit ton of metal, basically.
It's metal. It's almost all metal, but there is life wood, and it's something that you've very rarely ever seen, except on the greatest boughs of the most ancient trees in a forest. Life wood is one of the rarest materials, and can be used to create wooden golems.
Yep.
However, this is used more like a sinew to connect parts of metal around the forms. There is nothing, aside from the wood itself, organic of it. There are gears you can clearly hear clickings of. There are all these things, but they seem to have a magical essence to them. Like they were forged by magic, but the spell no longer lingers on them, and they have life.
I gently let them back down. I just sort of look over at all the people and say, "Look, I'm not into all this raw crap, but that's a living thing. Take it from a medical expert. I sewed that elf's head on. You've probably heard about that. Anyway, whatever. Have fun. Do what you want. I don't care. If you want to go killing living things, not my business."
Just for reference, who's arguing about what to do with them? It's Sildar and
Sildar and the king of Gauntlgrim, Belagar, are decreeing that these are creatures that should be spared, but the army is in a current state of they're aware that these are the enemy. They're confused by the situation and angered by the notion that these enemies that were so keen just a few minutes ago to kill them all should now be spared. Like, it seems like there's a few rabble rousers that are riling up everyone else.
but like human-sized army, not giant-sized
this is
army.
the human-sized army. The giant-sized army is behind Hecaton and will not interfere in this because it's not Hecaton's word.
Okay, Hector hasn't put any input into the argument though.
No, he is not.
Okay.
But he is observing the whole thing.
If I may speak, my lords.
They nod towards you.
If these creatures were at all aggressive, they would have attacked you as soon as that cage went down. And she's yelling this to the crowd. And do you not think it's strange that these beings are cowering before you? Is this a sign of brutality?
Make a persuasion check with advantage.
That was ever a time.
Yeah.
Persuasion check, advantage.
Hell
Like
yeah.
here.
You do it.
Please be good.
You can do
The
it.
one time I get
believe.
you accidentally and
I believe.
Give it. Build it. Should be once.
Shit.
Well, you have 2 kings currently backing you up. Maybe 3. And this whole time, whilst the army is doing this whole rabble-rousy thing, Legacy's to one side floating above them, all looking down at them menacingly, while Cronus is atop a wall to the other side, also looking down menacingly like, don't fucking try shit.
I think the rest are coming to terms with they're not just mindless killing machines.
This is the start of something potentially in the core of Faerun as a world. If any of you as characters want to have an intake into it and impart into it, it is now your time.
Okay. Karak will first take Nesnar's hand and say, I think you need to stay with me for a bit, just in case.
He
And
nods.
we'll go forward to sort of give her input on the situation.
As you pass people with Nesnar, some of the soldiers recognize him and some of them begin murmuring Black Death or the Shadow Blade.
Mm-hmm.
But none of them are looking at him with fear. It's more of a reverence for something that may have happened during the battle.
Okay.
But you do move forward with him. We'll move you up to say about here.
Okay.
I'll be here patting Burb.
I sort of nervously, because I'm not good at addressing large crowds, but I just sort of look at them and then look at the other crowd and I say, this is a very strange world and there's a lot of strange magic that happens, and trust me, I know. And things can be done to make people do stuff that they might regret. Trust me, I know. But if people are genuinely sorry for that and are willing to try to make a change, surely they should be given a chance, because I know what it's like to feel almost trapped in yourself, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And if we just keep fighting, then we just keep fighting. Sometimes you have to learn how to stop. And the first step is to forgive. And she sort of looks at Nesnar, who she's still holding hands with.
Yeah, his hand is shaking in yours currently because he's surrounded by people who, up until about 24 hours ago, wanted him dead.
Talk about putting him into the light, you put him straight into the spotlight.
I didn't want to leave him unattended.
Could have left him
You
with your
now
husband.
know what it's like to be me.
You could have left him with your husband.
This is Kirok, guys. She's doing her Kirokness.
Garrick, make a persuasion check.
Best burp.
$15.
With that, with Ashk, with Kirok, and with the kings, and the Lion Crown, the army seems to calm down. While there's still some resentment, it's not going to blow up currently. At this point, Hecaton steps forward, observing all of you, all of the small folk, the Warforged, his own people. We have all suffered greatly this day. Every last one. None of us are without injury, mental, physical, or otherwise. But it is in this moment where the damage has been done, where it can be healed. It is now where the wound is sorest it can be tended to best. I say, as my advice, allow these newborn, these war-forged indeed kin, take their opportunity to this world, to make a right, as it seems to be the case that today is a day of vengeance, but also, and he looks down towards Nesnar and Kirok, forgiveness. I decree that my people, from this day forward, shall aid all humans, all dwarves, all elves, gnomes, all small folk willing shall be aided. To this I vow, and to my daughter's will I can vouch. It shall be vowed by her too. We have a chance. The evil that separated us all now lies dead. We could not have done it without these few, however, and he points around to Varus and Glory, to Jiren, to Zero, Tian, Roman, Ashk, Kirok. Without these noble defenders, these heroes, these paragons of virtue, their tale has been one of grief, of bloodshed, and of pain. And even they can learn forgiveness. Even they are willing to build a better world for the pain they suffered. If you cannot do it for your own selfish means, do it for them. They have earned this privilege. He looks around to all of you. Now then, no doubt there was a horde to that beast. I decree that let there be the riches taken by the individuals who slayed the beast. What they do with it after is their will. It is theirs to earn.
Fuck off, Cthulhu!
Come back to me!
Call of
Favorite
Cthulhu!
shit!
It's Call of Cthulhu.
Wait, no, don't go into the ending without me.
What was that joke we said? I gave you spells. Call me back.
I showed you my spells, please respond.
You just
I'm
heard your
just imagining
back
Cthulhu like
suddenly.
this. Like that's the picture of him. I show you my spells, please respond. So, he looks around. Thank you, heroes. Together we will build a better world. As one force. the people of Faerun united. Now then, go and claim your riches, heroes. When you return, we will discuss our plans for the future. So, at this point, you have all been excused to go back down into that goddamn treasure trove.
Before we do, there's one more person I want to speak to.
Mm-hmm.
I will make sure that Nesnar is left with somebody responsible, probably Zero. And Kira.
Goddamn character development, that counts.
I say in undercommon, hey, how you going?
That's the idea.
And
It's just a slight Australian accent on common.
And
G'day, how you going? Doing right?
oh no.
That's me, yeah, push on the body.
Anyway,
Oh, the crikey. Oh, the
Sorry,
crikey.
things are too serious around here for me.
Kirak and Tian are going to fly up to Samoshi and extend their thanks to his assistance.
He's been watching over this all, and that very stern war-style face he had on, it just melted away to that soft, almost Robin Williams genie kind of grin. Oh, it's great to see this. It's so rare it actually happens. Most of the time they just start killing each other. I'm glad they didn't.
So am I.
This might very well be the 49th and the last. That'll be good. That'll be good.
Happy almost 50th?
Thankfully not 50th. That would mean you're all gone, and that would be a tragedy.
Thank you.
The number of times the world has turned back to a point where the apocalypse could be stopped. 49 times they tried with the material plane. 49th time the charm, I guess?
It's better than 50.
Indeed, because you're all here.
I don't know what happens next.
I'll take my people back and the remains of our fallen. This is the final debt you are owed of me. So, after that, you're more than welcome to visit me sometime in the plane of air as a guest.
I would love to. I intend to.
Me and
They're
my...
throwing up a portal now, and
That was not
Me
good.
and my... As he pauses for a moment as if he's about to say a name. My dear, and I will be there.
I sort of lean to the side to see if I can see her.
She's there. She's back up with him after the force cage was dropped and all that confusion. She's back up there in her more feminine form, but it's very much so like how she clothes herself is in beautiful, like long, like bright colored reds. But it's very much so like if you ever remember the old statuettes and old models of what was seen as like the ideal thing in like 2,000 years ago of female fertility, of like very like small here, wider hipped body kind of designed to her. She's very much so in that way, and very confident and proud in herself, looking around. I'm right here. Kira, can you keep a secret?
Maybe. Depends what the secret is.
She leans in close and whispers something to you.
Channel my inner Zal. And so read lips.
You don't know!
Like 100
Different dimension, different dimension.
Oh.
She smiles. I trust you to keep that one.
I think that's a good one. I'll keep that one.
Thank you.
I'll be seeing you soon.
Now I must know the secrets.
You will never let me
To piss us off because he knows the rest of us want to know so bad.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I
I'm
am.
like the only one who doesn't care.
Yes, that's why you got told. She doesn't give things to people who want them. Take care, dear. So glad you spent that one gold coin back in Tribar.
So am I.
And if you look down at your hand, that one gold coin is back in your hand.
I'll hold on to it for luck.
Samoshi nods, she bows, blows you a kiss. Yeah! And up they go on the Pegasus chariot, and then follows all of their hosts after them back into the plane of air, through a portal, and the air elemental plane's influence on the material plane has been lessened for a time.
Sort of hover in the air for a bit, looking at where they went. And then, probably after Tian's nudged her, she'll go, okay, and fly back down to the party.
I'm going to go over to Kirok and hand him what is now currently a fairly small bag compared to my size, and say, "Okay, it's been fun. I'm off on holiday."
You're not coming?
Nah, I got places to be and stuff. I'm gonna go downstairs, as it were, but not with you guys.
Are you sure you don't know?
Don't worry. I'll come back, and I wave my little whistle that's hanging around my neck.
You sure you don't want to at least come down here? There may be something that could be useful.
Nah, it's alright.
Land down under.
I've I sort of look over into the. I'll have my moment in a minute.
Sorry.
The distant thunder. I look at the battlefield and say, someone's sister got to go home today. Or maybe not a sister. Who knows? I think I've forgiven my past. Probably not my future. Anyway, you look after yourselves. You'll probably see me again, so I don't go rot in a hole. Oh, and good job with the war stuff and all that. The scavengers will clear up whatever I didn't.
I'm sure they will. You haven't left much
They
for
always
them.
do. Yeah, well.
I'm gonna miss you.
Oh well, you can always improve your own. And I just wander off to go see Vlad.
Zero?
Yeah.
Fly up and give him a massive hug.
Hug on the face. At this point as well, you are all aware Zero's trying to book it.
No one runs away.
No one runs away!
I just yell out, Vlad, give me a minute, they're being clingy.
Sometimes, though,
Vlad is gone.
sometimes they can walk away.
Vlad got the fuck out. You guys were all having tense moments, you realized you'd have his heart and be gone.
Fan's like, I'm not here for this emotional bullshit, bye.
Yeah, he just
I
basically
didn't sign up for this.
he basically just cuts out his lunch and goes, "Alright, I'm out. Bye."
That's why my
feelings.
hand is like, ah, don't worry, I'll find him.
I'm sure you will. If you don't come and visit, we'll have to come visit you.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. If I don't come to visit, chances are I'm very, very dead.
Well, you know how
Yeah.
we are. We're very
If you
determined.
half walk around, just make sure she does alright. And don't give her my name.
Zero,
Okay.
by the way, hasn't got his mask on. Which is a weird thing for him.
The feather still looks nice.
Single blue.
Thank you. I am vastly concerned about the biological nature of that.
I'm sure it's fine. It's magic.
Mm-hmm. Magic's fine.
It is. It really is. Now go on before they stop you. Or before I stop you.
I'm off. Have fun, you lot. And just sort of slither off into the sands.
Bye, cousin.
And off goes Zero Little, as mysteriously as he came, but never forgot.
Oh god, sand everywhere.
I hate
There it
sand.
is.
That's actually how I picture Zero looking, in all honesty.
Rory Pond!
Oh, Rory! Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, Zero, you go off. For the sake of brevity, do you guys actually go down into the fucking treasure trove? Because there's a treasure trove down there, guys.
I do
I'm
now.
over
I'm
this,
I'm done.
Yeah, very quickly though.
Investigate it.
Very quickly.
Someone get out a pen and paper.
I'm going to leave this
Okay.
now with the most
I'm
responsible adult I know, which is Legacy.
I will say to the
Oi.
king of
doubt?
I will say to pretty much all the kings that I would like the majority of my share to be given to those who have been. Basically, I'd like to donate the majority of my share to any charitable
To the
funds
widows
or
and
any.
widowers of any of the sort.
Yeah, and I will just take a very, very basic sort of
Okay.
I don't know salary.
So I'll tell you what, out of this, we'll look at how much everyone gets. Like, you guys can split it up, and then you can dictate, I take 30% of what should have been mine, and the rest is given to charity.
Yeah.
As a note, I think Kay wanted to do something.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, did you want to do something?
Oh yeah. I mean, Glory's still hugging me, so that's pretty difficult to walk.
I never said I'd let you go.
He's walking with you.
This would happen. I didn't want to interrupt people. This would happen at some point during all of that. I would just I'm sorry, Glory. I'm sorry. I'm gonna drop the giant form, so I go down to normal size as well.
You are now
Regular size. Right?
teeny tiny boy.
I'm assuming enlarges, reduces run out, so I'm just normal size RS, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine Carrick would have dropped the spell, so you're not.
Hello, yes, I'm Varys.
Not Polly Pocket Varys. It feels weird talking to someone who's much smaller than me, so I should probably also drop it.
Glory looks over at her giant woman.
Anyway, it's you have nothing to apologise for,
I do.
as long as you don't do anything stupid right now. In which case, I will have to deal with that as it happens.
Yeah, everyone's. No, if I really wanted to, I could have beat you there. You know, right?
I know, but you're better than that. You've always been better than me.
Well, I don't know.
I give Noogie his head as hard as I can,
Roll for
without causing him physical injury.
Athletic
Important
check. Athletic check to give him a noogie.
Also, I
Acrobatics.
would have guessed the winds are pretty strong in this area since it is a desert.
Mm.
So basically, as Gregor basically had left, the fog.
caveat. God damn it! My crew was this.
I'd say that she attempted to give you a nuggie, but it was half-hearted attempt. Roman,
See?
continue.
Basically, as Gregor finally disappeared, as the fog basically got blown away, it was just because of the high winds that are most likely within the
The
desert.
fog faded off as Gregor was gone. Yes.
Yeah, basically that. Anyway,
Right, Varys.
So go get me some stuff.
Let's go get you some stuff. And
Well, oh.
maybe
Don't get my
Later.
sword.
I'll give you a hand with this, and I give him the sword.
Hey, exactly.
like a baby with a bottle. Just
You can have this sword. I give her the other
I
sword.
don't want. It's fine. I have.
It
All
is
the, I have all
trade.
the swords I require.
This is a real good sword.
I will hold on to it for you.
I bequeath
If you
this
want
to you.
training with it, I'm more than willing to kick your ass later.
I don't need training.
Yeah, sure you don't. Right, let's go get you some gold.
I'm not there.
As the DM is struggling to get to the loot tables.
It's fine, we cannot be more.
Yeah, we're gonna lose.
I was gonna say I'd probably be the first one to kind of, after everything was over and done with, just kind of shrink away.
away, or
Well, no, just as a gnome, basically, just like I'm a gnome. Nobody's really gonna notice me if I disappear.
Towards the treasure.
Yep. And go towards
Also, to
the
give you guys an
You're so
idea,
transparent,
I
Roman.
wanted to give you
I
an
know.
idea.
Hey, I knew it was that
Oh,
thing!
yeah.
I knew it was that
Yay!
thing!
That's what Rockfin made.
Rockfan's a crazy bastard.
Nice.
I know, that's quite a famous D&D item, but
The
I can't remember its
apparatus of
name.
Koalish,
There
but
we
in
go.
my world it is the apparatus of Rockfen.
Also,
It's quite a famous
if the
item.
claws are ripped from, in my world, they're guns. There's just guns hidden underneath the claws. You just start shooting at you.
Rockfan's a crazy bastard.
He's a cool dude.
but yeah, no.
There
Sure.
he is.
Because literally, my flaw as Roman Omerin, I would do anything to get my hands on something rare or priceless. And searching a dragon hoard, there might be some stuff in there that's rare and priceless.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Speaking of which, before you start divvying up the treasure, you probably want to check that bag, Kirok. I sent Das what's in it.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit.
Is this going to be another Farm Familiar situation?
I will look inside
She
the
has
bag.
it for half the campaign, but she never
Something
checks what's
outside.
in it.
Hey, as I've said several times, this blue can be removed, and nobody bothered to find out how.
I mean, it's just part of your character at this point.
Aww.
Why would we change it?
Das, do you want to tell them what's in the bag?
I know it's in the bag.
What's in the bag?
What's in the bag?
I'm more rolling what's in the fucking trove.
Yeah.
What's in the trove?
To give you an idea, guys, I started on the loot table, that's my first initial, and I've been working down the alpha.
Oh boy.
Jesus Christ.
Right.
A lot of loot.
I guess we'll make our way
Okay, I
down.
hope you're ready.
We'll make our way down while the DM
A
is
blank
rolling.
page ready and a pencil.
Basically, as everybody gets down there, there's
Let's
just
go.
Roman with a broom, basically, just moving everything around.
We're gonna get plenty of identifiers ready.
I'm gonna, while we're down there, I remember there was those sarcophagi. Just-
Hmm.
Just check them, like, with a detect magic.
Playing with
I was
To be
literally
honest,
about to say
I'm
I'm
gonna
going
let
to
you guys
kill
know
anything
right now.
that comes at the party.
There was a mummy in one of them, and you wipe the fucking floor with it. It pops out, and it's straight up like that scene out of like
Whack-a-mole.
when someone walks past the pool, slapped in the face with a balloon, bucket on the head, drop kicked in the pool. That thing, you just maul it.
Oh my
just open the
god!
sarcophagus, it's plain chef. Boom.
It's a perfect recreation of what I did with my paladin in her first session. You open up the coffin, a skeleton pops out. I go, ah! Smack! And the DM just blinks and goes, you killed it in one hit. And I was like, good! Close that!
Mm-hmm.
That's a snake that's drifting.
What?
That's impressive.
Yeah, that's what they
Hypersnake
do.
drifter.
That's what the desert snakes do, yo.
I did not know that.
Okay,
They go
so
sideways.
firstly, I have to go to table G.
I'm
That's
ready
the
to
first table we're
Right. Everyone shut the fuck up so Kate can take notes.
Oh, don't worry, I'm also taking.
at.
God damn it.
Actually, I'm actually writing this down because I'm just going to literally do it all and just enter, and that's literally everything that you
I'll
find.
copy and paste that into the bag of holding, sweet. Unless someone takes it first.
I don't imagine so because you guys are good like that.
Some of us are. Some of us are, right? Roman?
I can see you looking at one person specifically on Tiny Chat.
I've had a short rest at this point, right?
Short rest, please.
No one declared a short rest.
The DM shaking his head. Either with
Yeah.
just moral disappointment or because no. Both is good.
Yeah, because it's just gonna be like, I take all of these nice things, and then I detour.
Fuck you guys. I don't know you anything.
I just came along for this trip for all of this. The long con, the
You're the
longest
evil-
of con.
You're not even one of the bees. Get out of here.
Whoa,
Oh.
whoa, whoa.
That's an
Whoa.
insult.
Oh, my heart.
Just because we haven't worked out what bee it is yet doesn't mean.
A bee for bastard. Bloody bastard.
Inventive. That was your original name.
Bee for bloody bastard.
But yeah, no,
My
that'd
initials are
be
BB.
The funniest thing is like, this Roman was just basically pulling the longest of cons. It's just like, oh,
Fucking funny.
look at all this loot. I'm
Look
now
at
a
all
ninja.
those chicks.
I'm sure.
Sorry.
Look at all those chickens. I'm sure your Storm Giant patron will look real nicely on you just stealing and running off. I'm sure.
Walks of the Wild West, man. Who fucking
I'm
knows?
sure. I'm sure that's definitely something he'll enjoy you doing.
I'm bringing it back to him. That's all.
Okay, so I'm just going to describe this first. Between all the elementals and all the loot, you find 10,000 gold pieces, 900 platinum pieces, a crystal skull worth 2,500 gold. From there, amongst the magical items, you find an amulet of health, this ancient suit of chainmail armor +1, the iron stone of sustenance.
Hold on. +1 chainmail.
Yeah.
Iron
stone of sustenance. The wand of the war mage +3.
Ooh.
To mute a chat because someone is spamming it like a daft bitch.
Right in. I'll mute myself.
No, that's not you. It's not you guys. Someone's actually like spamming a Discord chat.
I was like
Sorry,
leaning
no.
towards the pencil.
No, I'm just getting the little pop-ups, and that's where my fucking text is.
Oh.
I know,
What
no
I've gotten,
problem.
I'm like, "Ah!"
Oh yeah, that's right. He said he had it all written down.
Shield,
Enter.
an ancient shield +3. Now this is where things get really interesting, because this is tables H and I. 2 items from H, the Ring of Regeneration, the Scarab of Protection, and Goliathori has just been replaced by the Hammer of Thunderbolts. I will go through these items very quickly.
My heart!
The Amulet of Health increases the constitution of the wearer to 19, so long as the constitution is not already 19. Chainmail +1 is, as you imagine, chainmail
Chainmail
+1.
+1.
And then I will just go quickly to the ion stones.
I think we vaguely know what an ironstone does.
The ion
Of
stone of
sustenance.
sustenance.
There's different types.
Yes.
Oh
This
shit, I
one
learned something.
means, whilst you have this attuned to you, and it orbits your head, you do not need to eat or drink.
Sounds perfect for Roman and his villainous standards.
Literally, Roman does not need anything anymore. Does not need to eat, sleep, or drink.
Yeah.
Just this constant rage coming
Gonna
towards you.
fucking-
Meh.
I'm trying to think of who he's going to turn into. Hang on.
He's not turning into Vecna, he already exists.
Yeah.
You could try replacing him, but good luck.
I'm slowly turning into a lich, basically.
You're a lich without any of the difficulties.
Yeah.
The Ring of Regeneration. While you wear this ring, you heal 1d6 hit points every 10 minutes, provided you have at least 1 hit point. Should you lose a body part, such as an arm, leg, so on, the ring can cause the missing part to regrow and become fully functional in 1d6 + 1 days, so long as you have at least 1 health for the whole duration.
Varys.
We've had one there before, right? We stole one from
You
Sansura.
stole one from Sansura, yes, but this is a separate one.
Yeah, it's a different.
Whereas that one was one made of amber, this one is more of sapphire. Then there is the Scarab of Protection. QRS. S is for Scarab. Scarab of Protection. Requires attunement. Should you hold this beetle-shaped medallion in your hand for 1 minute, the inscription appears on the surface, revealing its magical nature. It has 2 benefits. You have advantage on all saving throws versus spells.
Whoa.
The Scarab has 12 charges. Should you fail a spell originating from a necromantic or harmful effect from an undead creature, so a necromantic spell from anything, or harmful on creature spell from an undead, you can
Where's
use,
my puppy?
You can use
Never mind.
one of these charges and turn the fail into a success. However, once the last charge is used, the Scarab crumbles into dust. It does not regenerate charges.
Oh.
And then finally to the big mama, for the big mama, the Hammer of Thunderbolts, a Maul legendary weapon. You have +1 to attack and damage rolls made with this magic weapon. Giant's Bane requires attunement, but you must be wearing a variety of the Belt of Giant Strength and Gauntlets of Ogre Power. Now, who has a vestige that's both? I didn't plan this, I just rolled it there.
I know,
That's
I'm
what we
not
call a
saying
happy
anything.
coincidence. Looks directly at my girl.
Whilst you have this wielded, your strength score increases by 4 and can exceed 20, but not 30.
Jesus Christ.
So your strength just went up by 4. So I think you had, 23? So now you're 27?
Yes!
27.
Whoa!
Oh,
Beef!
You are physically the strongest dwarf in all of Fable.
Yes.
The fucking mob.
oh my fucking god.
When you roll a natural 20 on an attack roll made against the giant must succeed a DC 17 Constitution saving throw, or die. There are no rolls.
Guess I'll die.
Yeah, guess I'll die.
Guess I'll
I'll
die.
die.
And
I'm
here's
sorry,
the thing,
all
guys.
I'm thinking
I'm
all I'm
only-
thinking is
I'm
whack-a-mole
only
and just go
through it. I'm only halfway through it.
Okay.
This also has 5 charges. Whilst attuned to it, you may expend 1 charged and make a ranged attack. So, ranged attack, hurling the weapon as if it had the thrown property. The normal range of it is 20 feet, and its long range is 60. If it hits, the hammer unleashes a thunderclap, which is audible for 300 feet. The target and every creature within 30 feet of it must succeed a Constitution saving throw, DC 17, or be stunned
Ooh.
until the end of their next turn. And the hammer regains 1d4 plus 1 charges at the start of a day. Using all the charges does not destroy the weapon.
Good shit right there. That's some good shit.
It's
So-
got a
so
thing on it!
basically-
Yep.
So basically,
She's literally female Thor.
She's Thor. Yeah.
Thor has a belt and gauntlets to make himself strong enough to lift Mjolnir anyway, and she just got the Mjolnir of the world. I'll have to think of a name for it.
I'll have
I'm
to
sure
think
she'll
of a
come up
name
with
in
one.
Welsh.
I want a Welsh bird.
Hey, not everything's Welsh. It's clearly dwarven design, to say the very least.
well then,
Dope.
Thank you.
I may be taking the Ion Stone of Sustenance, just for the fact of now I can be a literal alchemical powerhouse. Literally the
Listen, I can't fucking think of the character I'm thinking of, but if anyone knows the fucking goblin in Divinity Original Sin who lives beyond the end of time,
Yeah.
that fucking dude
Oh, God,
outlives
yeah.
every fucker else
Yeah.
I know
and
who you
just
mean.
like
Yeah, I
chills
know
out at
exactly
the
what
end
you
of
mean.
time.
Mm-hmm.
To give you guys an idea as well, when you destroyed the last mummy, the mummy that was there, you took
Where's
the
my
crown
mummy?
from its head. You identified it. The crown is not cursed, but
that's good.
it is a circlet with tiny black opals in it, and it has a head of a snake at the top at the front of it, with eyes and fangs of ruby. The total worth of this crown is 7,500 gold pieces.
Shit.
Yep. Oh, there's also an eye patch with a mock blue sapphire eye of moonstone affixed within it. This is worth 2,500 gold pieces.
I fucking thought you said iPad.
No, eye patch.
2,500, say.
2,500 gold worth of it for an eye patch. And that's exactly what I
That's
pictured.
not right for an iPad.
That's exactly what I pictured for Ashk now. That's all I can picture for Ashk now. That is it. She is female Thor in every way, shape, or form.
Guys, I think Glory won the campaign. Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
Take a shot every time we're a team of villain. Don't, you'll be drunk.
Please look at the replies on that, please.
I don't know how shots work.
Right. So
To try and break you.
I'm going for the high score.
Anyway, get off Twitter, nerds. We're playing D&D.
We're still playing D&D.
So, you all have these items. Divvy them as you will. That is where we're going to end this session. And next session, you have a week. Tell me what is the plans and plots of your characters as retired heroes of Faerun. Good night, everyone. Thank you for being on this wonderful journey with us. And we'll see you next week for the final episode.
I've got to propose!
I have to prepare a wedding!
For the final episode of Storm King's Thunder. Have a good night.